Hello and welcome everyone to the next Foreman Community Demo. Your host Gilvin. Host community? What am I talking about? I blame the new year. Everything's gone wrong today. Your host Gilvin here. We're going to have a packed demo for you today. It's absolutely mental. Everyone's clearly come back full of energy. We've got lots and lots of content for you, so I'm going to waste no time by jumping straight in. We'll just remind you that if you want to get involved in the show, you can jump in on IRC, #theforeman on Freenode, or you can get on the YouTube live channel. I'm not really looking at Twitter these days, so if you want to talk to us afterwards, that's great, but for during the show, YouTube or IRC is the way to go. So without further ado, you probably already know this, but 1.14 has been released. There is lots of new stuff in here, a lot of improvements, lots of nice new things, some features listed for you there. Since we're tight on time, I'm not going to read them out, but you can go and look at the headline features on the website. Do go and play with it. Let us know how you find it. Tell us your experiences and what works, what doesn't work, the usual kind of things. Hope you enjoy the release. For today, we've got lots of things. There's lots of things that are coming up for 1.15. So a new notifications UI that Daniel's going to show off, updates to the Ansible plugins, the templates plugin, Docker plugin, updates for Hammer, updates for class import pages. So much cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that. Before we get to that, quick reminder about events. So DevConf is next week, a week tomorrow. I will be running a 2-hour Foreman workshop there. So if you're interested in getting a Foreman sandbox environment set up using libvirt, do come along for that. Following DevConf, we then have FOSDEM the following weekend. We will have a stand in the K building, so you can come and talk to us. There are a couple of Foreman talks happening. I'm doing one on a new plugin that I don't have time to show today. So if you want to know what the super secret plugin's about, come and see the talk. And we've of course got Config Management Camp Ghent 2 days afterwards, Monday, Tuesday. We will again have a Foreman track. The schedule is up on the Config Management Camp website, so you can go and see what we're going to be talking about. 2 full days of Foreman content for you there. And we've got the Foreman Hack Day confirmed. Hacking, write some plugins, make some contributions, talk about translations, whatever sort of contribution you want to do, come on to our hack day and we'll be very, very happy to meet you and help out. So it's pretty packed events in the next few weeks. I didn't put it on the slide, but the community survey should be released tomorrow as well. So this year's community survey will be going out, and this year we've managed to get a little bit of funding for some prizes. It's going to be a raffle, and obviously to do a raffle I need contact details. That is optional. If you wish to be anonymous, you absolutely can, but of course if you're anonymous I can't give you a prize, so the choice is yours. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the metrics. I'm going to go really fast through this today because most of it you've seen before and we don't have a lot of time. I think this is a combination of 2 things. Firstly, Christmas, that's always going to have an effect. And also, there was a bug that hit my metric system over Christmas that I didn't spot for a few days. So we have a couple of days in the data where there's effect, which is not really true. But so a combination of those things explains that quite nicely. Otherwise, I think it's just really nice to see 1,200 downloads of the 1.14 release candidates. So a very big thank you to everybody who participated in the testing of that. It looks pretty solid so far, I think. Moving on, plugin metrics, nothing majorly exciting here. It's usually all the same faces that we see every month. Interesting to see Discovery go quite high up the list, but that's moved up, I think, 3 places. But it's not a big change in the actual numbers. So, these are all the usual things. However, what I thought might be interesting this month, so a new slide for you, is I thought I'd do the same thing for compute resources. Now, this is a little bit shaky because it's using, again, the download of packages. So you can see these are actually package names coming from the HTTP downloads on our mirrors. So again, take this with a pinch of salt, but it's interesting to see the rankings of the different compute resources. This doesn't tell you how many compute resources people have. It doesn't tell you how often they actually spin up hosts on them or anything like that. But just trying to get an idea of what people are using. So might be of interest. Redmine is what you'd expect. The changes are all pretty typical. It's usually up or down by a little bit each. And again, this is no different. I am very happy to say that the community percentage for issues opened has returned to its usual levels. I did say last month that I hoped that the spike down to 27% was short-lived, and that seems to have been the case. So a big thank you to everyone who reports bugs and participates on the bug tracker, because that's a huge value to the project. So do never think that your contribution is too small. A little thing like just opening a bug for something that you hit actually means a lot to us. So please keep doing that. GitHub's much the same. Numbers are a bit all over the place, but the totals really haven't shifted that much. And you've always got to count Christmas in this to a certain extent as well. So I'm not going to try and come up with some fancy theory as to why they've shifted that much. So and as always, there are some more graphs that you can see on our live dashboard. I do need to find some time to add more graphs to that, but what with the events coming up to do that this month, hopefully get back to that when we get back from our conferences. Okay, that's quite enough rambling from me, I think. Time to move on. Let's have some presenters, and let's start with Daniel. So Daniel, you put yourself up for doing some Ansible stuff first. Tell us, you put a very long list of things that have come in the Ansible 1.4 update. So tell us all about that. Oh, and he's muted himself again. You're just about to start talking, and then your mute went back on.
It's this Daniel.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Can you mute yourself as well? All right. It's I don't hear myself twice. I still hear myself twice. Hold on. All right. So Ansible 1.4.0 is going to come up probably tomorrow. I'll be making documentation for the release. We've got a lot of contributions from Garrett and Chilicat. And what I'm going to show you today is those contributions and some other changes that will come up with the with 1.4.0 release. First off, let me mute myself actually, because all right. So first off, the Ansible roles that you were able to set on host groups since 1.3, these list of roles that basically apply to all hosts in a host group. Now you can go to the host groups page, go to the actions column, then you go click and you go here, click and play roles, and they should apply to all hosts in that host group. Now I just clicked, it should be creating a task, and it should be redirecting us to this task. All right, something else that is coming on 1.4.0 is that now you should know which proxy run which roles. So let's say we have this host here, devil.lobato1. I click on play Ansible roles, and it's going to give me a list. Going to play roles but now it's also going to tell me through which proxy is it doing it, and this is helpful in case the proxy is down or something. You're able to track. Okay, so it says play Ansible roles on host blah 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 through Toshiba hypervisor, which is the name of my smart proxy. So this allows me to figure out if something goes wrong. Daniel, where should I look?
Daniel, you really need to upgrade the font size.
Should I look for? All right, now it's running. If you're used to the Ansible plugin, maybe you've noticed something different, and it's that the verbose level of Ansible here is quite high. It's actually it's actually the most verbose setting in Ansible that you can get, I think. And this also comes new in 1.4. If I go to, hold on. If I go to administer and settings, we'll see some of the new Ansible settings that 1.4 comes with. First off, now you should be able to set the connection type. It can be SSH, but it can also be Windows RM or local or any other connection type that Ansible allows. And this is not on a global basis, but as you can see, all of the settings come with an explanation on how you can override the setting for a host. So you just set a parameter Ansible connection, and then it'll be overridden. You can put this parameter on hosts, host groups, or a global parameter. It doesn't really matter. Same, the port is possible to override. And here is where we change the verbosity level. We can set whatever number from 0 to infinite, basically, because after 5, I think Ansible, it just responds with the maximal verbosity level. You can change the Ansible user and the password, and here you can see how to override them. And in case you're using Ansible for Windows hosts, you can set whether you want WinRM certificate validation or not, and as well you can enable it and disable it via parameters. And this setting that I purposefully skipped, post-provision timeout. So right now, up until now, the Ansible plugin only run Ansible roles when you click here on, let's say, play Ansible roles, or when you go to a host and click on play roles, or now when you go to the host groups and click on play hosts roles for a host group. We've added a hook for Ansible so that when your host finishes provisioning, they will call home normally with a call to Foreman. If you're familiar with how it works, it's usually a wget call on your finished template that sets the host in Foreman to, it tells Foreman that the host has been built. And after that, Foreman will issue an Ansible run to enforce the roles, and it will wait at most this timeout until the host is up. So let's say the host takes 5 minutes to reboot, would still be covered with this. And I think this is all I have for Ansible. Let me just check again. Yeah, that's basically it. Other than that, there were some bugs about canceling Ansible runs. Like when you would cancel a task, it wouldn't work. That has been fixed. And yeah, that's mostly it. I hope it's useful for you. If you want to contribute or you want to report any issues, go to the Foreman/Foreman Ansible on GitHub, and you'll see all the information to do that there. That's all I have. Tomorrow, I hope I will release it with docs, and I will send an email to Foreman Dev about the updates.
Himself. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to thank you for giving everybody else in the demo a reminder of why you need to increase your font, and also not mute the person who's giving you instructions. Because several people mentioned that your font size is way too small and basically unreadable on YouTube. So we might need to do that again in the next community demo. We'll see how it goes. But it was very, very difficult to see what you were doing there, I'm afraid. Nonetheless, It's okay. These things happen. It's, you know, if you follow along, at least people can follow along and click on the same things and actually see what they say. So that's great, though, and it does look like a lot of cool functionality. So congrats to everyone involved in the new release of the plugin. So that's really good. We do have more from you, though. I'll just switch back so we can get the cover slide. So enough about plugins. Let's go back to Core Foreman. Tell us about the new notifications UI.
Mind you give me 5 minutes about that? Like, just give.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you put them together in the agenda, so I figured you wanted.
Yeah. Sorry.
Marek, are you good to go?
Yep, I think so.
All right. So Marek, tell us about the temp. Now this I got wrong last time, so correct me. Right? Is it definitely about the plugin this time?
Yes, it's about plugin this time.
Superb. I'm not wrong this time. Go ahead.
Okay, so today I'll try to explain a new feature that's been recently merged to Foreman templates plugin. I started to work on that several months ago, so back to November 2016. Anyway, it was merged recently. We are still waiting on the new release of the plugin, but it's there, so you can start playing with that. And what I want to show today is how you can use this plugin to start managing the templates externally using whatever VCS you want, and also how you can contribute with sending the changes in the templates we have in Foreman Core to the community templates. This depends on one change in our community templates. If you don't know what this community templates repo is, it's the repository where we keep all the provisioning templates and partition tables and job templates. And in order to use it like I'm going to show, it depends on a change in that repo, in the change of the file structure. Currently, this is the structure we have. So we have several directories here, basically based on some random rules. But there's already open pull request. There was a discussion on the Foreman dev, so it should be changed quite soon to the new structure. It would look similar to what you can see here. So we would have topmost directories for provisioning templates, partition tables, and job templates. And because it's not there yet, I'm going to use my fork of this repo. So basically, imagine that this is the Foreman Community Templates repo, right? So let's say I want to start using this upstream repo and synchronize changes in my Foreman. So what I need to do, I just need to clone it to my own fork. So on GitHub, I click the fork here. I'm actually the user RS2 here. So this is my fork of the same repo. So if I click to the develop branch, I can see the new structure. Now, what I need to do, I need to obviously log into my Foreman. So this is Foreman 114 fresh installation plus the Foreman templates plugin. And I need to configure the Foreman templates plugin accordingly. So this is the settings that comes from the Foreman templates plugin. To set up the repo that I'm going to use, I need to specify the branch that I'm going to be synchronizing. I'll remove the prefix for now, so the templates will be named the same way. Also, I don't want to change any metadata of the templates. So basically, when I do the export, I want to keep the existing metadata. Metadata is the, let's say, comment on top of the template, and we later we'll probably synchronize this with what Foreman would generate. But currently, there are information like descriptions and mapping to operating system and so on. So I want to keep all of the metadata, and I need to set up the path to the repo here. So basically, I point it to my fork. Also, I need to specify the username and password here. It most likely works with the SSH key. I'm just I didn't set it up for the Foreman user here. So please don't hack this account during the demo, then you can play with it. So now when I have all of this information ready, I can trigger the exporting of the changes. But first, I want to do some change. So let's say I update some template here. For example, this template I'll add some description, and let's say this template configures equal repo. Now I'm going to save this. And now is the time for exporting it. So we don't have the UI support yet, but we have the rake tasks provided by the plugin. So what I can do is run Foreman rake templates export. And what it does, it downloads the repo to the temporary file from the GitHub, my fork. Then it applies all the changes that I have in my database. Basically, it does the dump of all templates. And then it commits the changes if there is something to commit and pushes it back to the fork. So now when I look back to my fork here, I can see that there is a new commit in the develop branch, and I can create a new pull request based on that. You can see it created one commit for me already, so that's the change. The commit message was constructed, and it contains the username of the user that did the change. Here I can see the div that I added a description. So this template configures equal repo, and voila, I can create a pull request. So this is a very easy way how to send pull requests to our community templates. Obviously, you also want to do the synchronization to the other side. So if you want to do some updates, so let's say there was a pull request to your fork, or you updated the repo on a GitHub. So I added a new commit there right now. And what I can do, well, maybe we can first take a look what was the change exactly. So okay. So the change was this one. The change was in some snippet called shift client, and I added a new command there. So now I can go back to the Foreman host and call templates import. Also, I'll turn on the verbosity here. Hopefully it's yes or true. I don't know. We'll see. So it was true. Oh. Okay, so I can see that it imported everything from that repo. So I can also see the div here. And if I navigate back to my provisioning templates and see the new version of the shift client, I can see that there's a new string. Okay, so one more thing is that I'm not limited to use only Git here. If you prefer to have a better control over the repo, you don't want to push it directly somewhere to the remote repo, you can use a file system basically, or you can specify the file path here. So you could do something like user share Foreman Community templates. And when you trigger the export now, it only dumps files to this location. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have permissions here set correctly, so let me fix it real quick. Now let me run the export. And what it did, it just saved the file there. So if I go to that path and see, because it's already a Git repo, I can see that there were some changes added. So this way I can basically just export all the templates to the existing directory. And here I could do it myself. I could review the change. I can commit that and push it to some repo, for example. Also, I can override all of these options that I configured in that UI here. So I could specify a repo here. So I can do something like this. This would fail because the directory doesn't exist. So let me create it first. Now I can run the same export, and I specify this newly created directory. So it's not a Git repo, but if I go there, I see that the templates are here. They were rendered here. So I could use any other VCS system, or I can just keep it in this directory separately. Okay, so I guess that's it. Unless there are any questions.
Just check. I don't see any right now. So you might have touched on this. I actually dropped out briefly while you were presenting, so I may have missed this. But the export with the model is in 1.14.1, right?
The exporting functionality in Foreman is in 1.14. Yes. So,
right. Right. The exporting in general is 1.14, but didn't we add a patch to export the model of the template object, like whether it's ptable or whatever, in 1.14.1?
Correct. As far as I know, that's going to be in 1.14.1. Yes.
That's what I'm waiting for before I release a new version of the plugin, because then you've got seamless export import.
By the way, this is the thing that I mentioned. If you keep the metadata mode, exporting mode, to keep instead of refresh, we don't regenerate anything there, and we keep the existing metadata. So you can use this plugin already.
I might as well release it. Okay, I'll get a release out sometime soon then. Okay, thanks. I believe Daniel is ready to do the second part of his demo now. So I'll just give us a couple of slides. There we go. New notifications UI. So Daniel, away you go. Let's check your font size. A little bit bigger, I think, for that page anyway.
Look, okay.
I mean, it depends what you want to show, but the actual hosts table it would be unreadable at that size. That's better. That's better. Cool. Okay, I forgot.
All right. So the hosts table is not really what I want to show you here. It's this little bell here that maybe you didn't notice before. This bell in here is an indicator for notifications, which will display notifications that may have come from the different Foreman backends or from Foreman itself. We don't really have any source of notifications yet, but we do have this infrastructure for developers to start adding notifications. Just so you get a feel of how it looks and understand what we mean by notifications, it's basically things that you think the user should know about. And the notifications basically look like this. They have different groups. So you could have a group. These names are invented, obviously, but you can, let's say you have problems with subscriptions. You can make a group called subscriptions and then list all the notifications for subscriptions in here. So I see this here. I know that this notification will expire in this, like at this date, or sorry, that I got this notification at this date. My bad. And this notification will expire at some time set by the code that has set this notification. So if I click on here, I can say that it's read already and it won't show up as new event. Same here. I have another message for YouTubers. I marked this one as read and marked this one as read. Not sure why that's persistent. Hold on. All right. So, all right. So at this point, we don't have any new notifications. And I think that if I refresh the page, the bell will show up empty. Okay. More things. Yeah, it shows up empty. So more things for developers. If you want to add notifications in your code, it's really simple. Notifications are defined by this class called notification blueprint. In the notification blueprint, you would define things like the group. So if you want to group your notifications, you just use that, and it's like the group we saw before. The message, the level, we have a list of levels that you can see in the notification blueprint class. Depending on the level, it will show up like green, red, or gray in the UI. What caused this notification? So let's say a smart proxy caused there was a problem in the smart proxy and it caused a notification. So we have a subject here. and the expiration. You just have to create this class, and then create a notification that is started by a certain user, and it has a certain audience. After you save the notification, on every user will automatically get that notification here. And yeah, you can see a list of possible audiences here on the notification class. Those audiences include organizations, locations, user groups, specific lists of users. You can choose arbitrary audiences. I don't think you need to know a lot more about how it's implemented. I think with just these two things, you should be able to add notifications from any plugin, from Foreman core. Just one thing that we would want is that the notifications should be used for something relatively important and interesting, so that users don't get like a lot of notifications all the time, and they're overwhelmed by these messages. So things like smart proxies down is probably important. Things like a puppet run failed is probably not that important. Or a subscription is going to expire, probably that's important. But whatever, content view was not possible to publish, maybe not so important. I hope you understood how to add notifications with these two classes. I think it's fairly easy to do. If you have any questions, I'm on IRC. Ohad, which by the way is the person who drove most of the backend implementation, I would say 95% of it, is also an IRC. And Gail, who wrote the UI part on React, her code hasn't been merged yet because there's a test break.
We're going to have to move on, Daniel.
Will probably be merged sometime later today.
Daniel, oh,
Yes.
He's muted me again. We're going to have to move on, I'm afraid. It's tight for time today. So I have one question, though, very, very quickly. Can you put links in a notification?
About what?
Can you put a link in a notification?
Yes.
Okay,
You can
cool.
put links to anywhere in Foreman or outside. You can use the URL for helpers that you use already everywhere else in Foreman.
Cool.
So let's say a
Okay.
task fails.
That's great. We've got to move on, I'm afraid. We're really tight for time
Okay.
today. The fact that you can do it is great. I'm sure we can all come and ask you or Ohad on IRC if we
No problem.
get stuck. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to move right along because, as I say, we're tight for time. Thank you very much, Daniel. That is super exciting, by the way. I'm going to be putting that into tons of places. All right. So let's move on to Tomasz, who is going to tell us all about our sessions in Hammer.
Yes, hello. I'm going to tell you about a feature that's been actually merged quite some time ago. Unfortunately, I missed the last demo, so I couldn't show it. It's actually two features in one. First of them is that our API started accepting sessions via cookies, and now when you do an API call, it returns you a session ID which you can reuse. So if the first call is authenticated, you can continue doing the other calls, and you no longer need to send the credentials. So the new feature in Hammer uses that. Previously, didn't have your credentials either saved in the config file or on the command line, and you did hammer command. It asked you for username and password. So I'll give it credentials. Oops. Yeah, and do it again. It asks for the credentials again, which is quite annoying. Yeah. So new feature that is disabled by default, and I will tell you later. You need to enable it in the config in section Foreman and use sessions. When it's enabled, and again, for the first time, it asks you for credentials. For the second time around, it just uses the session that's been saved for any commands, of course. Apart from that, there's been changes made in hammer out command. It used to make sense only in a hammer shell that actually remember the credentials. Now with the session, it makes sense to use it also amongst the normal commands. So when you do hammer out, tells you whether you're logged in or not. You can see that we're logged in as admin. When I log out, it deletes the session. So now when I do status, when I do login again, and I can log in as a different user this time. I made a typo first time, so now I'm logged in, so I can try status again. Log in, and when I do host list, I'm logged in as a different user, and it gives me a bit more restricted output because I don't have enough permissions. So if I change the user on command line, because currently I'm logged in as John, with different username, Hammer will know that this is a different user, and it will ask for password again. So, this is the feature. Now the session expires on the server in 1 hour by default, and this is something to do with the reason why we decided that this is going to be disabled by default, because after the session expires, the first command that you use with user login simply fails, and it's because we haven't implemented the second important part yet, and this is retry on the commands. We haven't implemented it intentionally because we wanted to split the feature into two. And the second part brings a bit of refactoring together. And if we did it once, it would be too huge to review, actually. So that's the reason why. But stay tuned. I hope that soon we will also implement the retries, and everything then should work smoothly. So it's everything from my side, and I noticed that there were some questions on the IRC, but Greg, can you please read them for me?
Actually, I think I just has a comment about what to call some of the functions, but that's a debate that we can have
Okay.
offline, I guess. I don't, so I think we're good. So, and as I said, as we're tight for time, I'm going to move on. So thanks for that. That's a really cool feature. Moving on, we've got Sebastian, I think first time on the demo. So let me just do the cover slide. So we're going to talk about the Puppet import page. So let's go to that.
Yeah, am I on?
You are on.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay, gonna share my screen now. Just a second.
So Yeah, welcome to the demo, by the way, since I think this is your first one. So.
Oh yeah, that's the first one. Okay, I'm going to show you not necessarily the import page of Puppet classes, but how Puppet classes are shown and handled when importing them or showing them in the interface. For example, if we go to the test host group that already has some classes set up, hopefully you can see that in a second. Yeah, here. If we change the environment of the host group here that doesn't include those classes, it would not be apparent before. It would just simply let you submit the form without warning you. Now you can see we have a warning mark here on the tab. And if we go to the tab, you can see the warning and that the included classes that are not available in the environment are grayed out and you can still remove them. Now, the second issue that some users had were that when you have a parent host group, it was not apparent which classes are included from the parent and which are assigned to the current host group. If we go to the test host group kit here, and to the Puppet classes tab, you can now see that they're separated from the included classes, and you can also inspect them if you need to. The last issue that is now also improved is when importing actual classes from the Puppet master. There is a feature in Foreman that you can ignore classes with a filter, and it would simply ignore them and apply those filters, and you would never see a hint of the classes that have not been worked on. Now, if you click on import, it takes a while. This is the longest request probably. Da-da-da-da. Yes. Now you can see that the Nginx class has been ignored. Actually, all Nginx classes have been ignored, and therefore it's going to be removed from the production environment. And this also applies to environments. In this case, test is not ignored. It's just not in the Puppet master. That's it from me. All those changes are going to be in Foreman 1.15, and that's it from my side.
Fantastic. Apologies for cutting your title slide. I couldn't get what you gave me to
No
fit
worries.
on one line. So even more than I expected. That's really awesome stuff. So thank you very much for that. I don't see any questions for you, so I'm going to move on. We're going to go to a non-Red Hatter this time. We're going to go and get one of our great community contributors, Timo, to come and tell us what he's been doing with Koros. You there, Timo? No, he's got no audio. No, we're not hearing you. Because we're tight on time, I'm going to move on while you look into that, and we'll just see if we can come back to you in a sec. So, Tom, are you there?
I am.
Fantastic. So, content views. What have you got for us?
So I'm going to talk about a new feature with content views. In the past, we did not have the ability to filter out tags as you promoted and published your content views. So I'm going to take a quick divergence here. So Red Hat also has a registry. It's at access.redhat.com/containers. And I am going to, my goal here is to pull down the latest RHEL base image and get that up to production. So you can see here I put in search RHEL, gives me different categories. I chose base images and RHEL itself. And if you go here, you can see all the tags You can also see any advisories or CVE that have been fixed in the various versions. So you can see the latest version is 7.3 build 66. Okay, so this is the products page. I have I've already made a product, Red Hat container catalog. It's where I keep all my synced images. And one of them is RHEL. So I've synced this down yesterday. It comes down with 31 tags, one for each of the manifests in there. I have a content view. I call it RHEL Docker base image, and I put that repo in there. And I've already done all the publishing stuff just for time perspectives. So you can see the first version in this content view is 30. It has all the tags, all 31 tags. My goal, though, is to get a content view in the production lifecycle environment with just the latest tag. So in other words, whenever a consumer of my content pulls from that content view in that production environment, they're just going to get what I want them to get, which is version 66, the latest version. So the new page here, you can see in the past we had filters for repositories for Yum. So you'll be fairly familiar. It's easy to use the Docker ones, the same concept. You can make a new filter, give it a name, inclusion type, include or exclude. So I can include tags or I can exclude tags. So I've made a filter, and it's an include, and it's only going to include latest. So on my system here, I've used the RHEL base image in the past, and previously I pulled it down directly from Red Hat's registry. And you can see the tag is latest, okay? But there's no way to really look at that and know which version of RHEL it is. It's release 45. So the latest is 66. So I've synced down from my Catello that tag 7.3 build 45, and you can see that it's actually the same image. So if I go up to RHEL latest, we can see that it's in production and where it's published. So what I would do is expose, I put this link in any of my S2I, if I'm building images, this would be the base image that I would use. You can see the image, the tag is latest. So when the next version, next build of the image comes out, I can have a sync schedule. I can just sync it down from Red Hat's registry, go through the normal life cycle, lands in library, get promoted up to development and test it out, get it up to production, so that the latest tag in production would change the build number in there. And that's it. That's how we can manage Docker containers just like we would Yum repositories, and make sure that our consumers are consuming what we want them to consume rather than just guessing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tom. I don't just see any questions for you now, so we'll move right on. We'll go back and have another go and see if we can get hold of Timo. So, Timo, are you there now? I'm going to go with no, because I can see you unmuted yourself, and we're not getting any audio from you. Very, very odd. But I guess with us being tight on time, do you want to just have one last chance to fiddle with it? Let's see if he's talking to me on IRC. No, okay. So I'm gonna move on again, and maybe we'll have one more go. So Justin, let's talk about repo metadata.
Alrighty, you should be able to see my screen now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so occasionally, as part of using Catello with Pulp, Pulp is publishing Yum repos. Occasionally, something will go wrong and the metadata will become corrupt. There's lots of reasons for this, but previously it was extremely difficult to fix this situation. So here, for example, you have some repo data, and I'll just real quick delete the primary XML to kind of simulate some corruption. So we see the primary XML went away, and ideally, you just be able to resync this repo, and have it republished. But due to some optimizations that Pulp does, it actually wouldn't.
You know, you need to make that bigger, right, Justin?
Okay. Better. I made this page bigger. Is this page good?
Yeah, just. There you go. Right.
So anyways, it became kind of necessary to be able to force publish a repo. So we've now added this option here on the repository details page. So if we sync, this is a small repo, so it won't take very long. And then if we refresh, you see the primary XML came back. It just hopefully allows users to get themselves out of situations that were difficult to do previously. That's it.
Super. Nice and simple, straightforward. It's so quick that we haven't even had any questions yet. I don't know what the delay on the stream is like today. All right, Timo left and rejoined. Are you there now? Let's see what go on this time. No, I think his microphone's broken. All right, so let's talk to Parth. Oh, no, that's Partha's microphone. Ha. So let's talk about composite views, Partha. What have you got for us? Is he there? What have you got? Oh, no, there you are.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Can you see my screen here?
Definitely need to make that bigger.
Better?
It's delayed. That's much better, yes.
Awesome. All right. So I guess you guys just heard about the content views from Tom, the content view filters, so I don't have to go there. But a composite content view is a content view. It's made of many content views. So we use a, so for example, I have what is called a composite content view here. And one of the versions I'm just showing you, it contains of the contents of CV and CV1 here. So here are two content views, and here are two versions of the same content view. Now, getting back to the work we did this sprint was ability to choose space. So prior to this version, when you created a composite content view, when you chose content views, you would, if I go to the add screen here, you would always see the, prior, you would always see a specific version number. You couldn't choose a latest content view version, a component view version. So for example, so prior to this feature, you'd always be stuck to choosing one of these versions, and when the component content view got republished, you would have to republish the composite also. And so one of the changes we did this sprint was allow you to choose a latest as a version. And so for example, if I chose a latest here, so the latest CV version here is 3.0. Yeah, all right. And just to give you more context, the content view version the latest content view version here you can see is version 3.0. So you basically get to add that. You basically get to choose that now. So in the future, if I published a newer version here, if I had a version 4, you would see that version 4 automatically getting. So if you created version 4 in the future and you published a new version here, it'll publish. If you republished the composite, you would see the version 4 contents being in the newer content view. So let me just show you one quick one. For example, so if I chose 2.0 now and published it, let me change the original content view. This one. A couple of repos from here. This is what I said. One, okay, remove, yeah. So I'm publishing a component content view here. So I'm creating version 4. Now, in my composite, I specifically asked it to publish version 2. So if you see the versions here, you would see version 2.0. But now, if I change it to always to the latest, one sec. If I ask it always, you choose the latest. Now, version 4 of my component just got published. So if I republish this composite, I would see version 4 of it in my component. So that's basically the new feature. Basically, we have UI and API bindings to do this, where you get to select always use latest, where you get to say always use the latest version when publishing the composite. Guess that's pretty much what I had for my demo. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Okay, thanks very much, Partha. I'll just have a quick look. I don't see anything right now, so that's brilliant. We are going to overrun by a few minutes, I think, but it shouldn't be too bad. Let's give Timo another chance. It's changed browser, I think.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me now?
Hey, we can hear you. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Let's go to you
for the
now.
rescue.
So let me just switch to your cover slide. So CoreOS updates with a brand new Foreman plugin. Tell me about it.
Okay, so all right. What I've been working on is actually a way to manage your CoreOS servers with the Foreman. And what I want to demo today is our two plugins. One is a plugin for Foreman itself, Foreman Omaha, and the other one is a plugin for the Smart Proxy. They both work together to allow you to manage your CoreOS servers with Foreman. What Foreman Core already offers is some provisioning support. For example, you can provision CoreOS machines via Pixie. What the plugins offer you is to allow you to update the servers to Foreman and the service report to Foreman. So you can see here is a Foreman installation that's completely empty, so I don't have any hosts. And what I want to do now, I hope the font is big enough, is to create a VM on DigitalOcean. I don't do it with Foreman just to show you another way how that can be used. And now we need to wait for the VM to actually get a public IP address. Might take a while. While we wait, I can show you how, basically how the VM is set up. I have some.
I don't know how important it is to read that, but it's a little bit on the small side.
Okay. So actually, it's just a user data template that tells the VM that it should update against the Foreman Smart Proxy. And what we then can see if the VM now has an IP address. Sometimes it just takes for ages. We can check if we have reverse DNS. We have that because that's necessary. So right now we can connect to the VM. We see that it's running. Oh, I can sudo to it, and then now I can kick in, force the machine to check into the smart proxy. You can see that by the indicators that something is happening right now. So let's quickly switch back to my browser. Look at the host page. Okay, my session expired. We got to log in again. And out of thin air, there's our new VM reporting to Foreman. When we click on the host show page, we see that it has checked in with its Core S version, the architecture, and that's basically it. And we can see the update reports that Core S sends to Foreman just by clicking the Omaha button here. And we actually see, okay, there's an update check that came in, it completed, and we can see some details of the checking in. So right now, nothing really happens because the VM is already on the Muse Core S version. What I'd like to show is the switching of the release channels. So if we change that to the alpha channel, and restart the update agent, and then again force our update, we should see some new reports here. So it completed. We can see that it started to download the update from my smart proxy right now. We should get a new report that tells us that the machine is downloading a new update. And that will probably take for ages. I mean, the image is quite large that's being transferred from my local machine, so it's just slow. But we actually could see the whole update with all the steps, and then the machine would reboot into the new Core S version, and we'd get a report of the new Core S version in Foreman. The Smart Proxy plugin actually has a way to sync all the Core S releases from the official update servers to a local network. So they are sometimes quite slow, the update servers. So if you can sync the content, it's faster, and you don't need to allow all machines, for example, to access the internet. So you can have all of that on some trusted local server. Yeah, that was it.
Superb. Thank you very much. And I'm I know you wrote this a little while ago, so it's glad to finally get you on a demo to talk about it. It's really cool. Those reports come with a status. Does that show on the host status as well?
Yeah, it does. So if we go back here, we have to refresh that. So it's integrated in the host status, and now it's fine because it's downloading. If there were any errors, it'll turn red.
Fantastic. All right then. Well, we'll have to leave it there, I think, due to time. But that's superb. I look forward to seeing where that plugin goes, what contributions happen there. So keep us informed, and thank you very much. So, last but by no means least, that brings us on to Dominic, who's going to tell us about some audit changes. So thanks for waiting, Dominic. Sorry it's taken a while, but let's hear your piece.
Hi everyone. I present you a feature that show audit logs of password change. For example, if you have a user, John Doe, and want to change his own password, for example, password.
Looks like your stream is frozen. We're still looking at the dashboard right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, something's frozen there.
Better?
Give it a sec. Yes, here we go. Okay, yeah, we're seeing your audit page now, and menus and things. Hopefully this will work better now.
Okay. If you choose the user's profile and want to change password, for example, password or so on, and then click on submit. Now you can see in audits item that John Doe update John Doe, and the message was the password has been changed. For example, if I use a hammer, take a minute. And we have user John Doe, and set the password for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and submit it. We can see that on audit log 2. And I'm logged as an admin in Hammer, and there is an admin.
No, you've lost your screen sharing. Has gone wrong again. We're just getting your profile picture now.
Oh, sorry.
Share desktop. An Alt tab.
It's better now.
We've got your browser. So yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, we see that.
Okay, there is an I am logged in Hammer as admin, and I update John Doe, and there is an item that password has been changed. For example, that's all.
Cool. Okay, cool. I think that's great. We will leave it there, I think. I don't see any questions for you or for anyone else. So that just leaves me to very quickly thank all the presenters today. It's been a really packed show. We've managed to keep it to just 9 minutes over time, so apologies for that, and thank you for all the viewers who are still watching. Thanks to everyone who took part. Thanks to everyone who watched. You know other places to come and find us. I'm not going to read them all out. Thanks for watching. Do take care.